Living in Florida usually means deciding how to protect your outdoor space from bugs and debris. But if you have a beautiful waterfront or a golf course in your backyard, the last thing you want to do is look at it through a cage of aluminum posts. That desire has driven a huge demand for panoramic or picture window screen enclosures. Many contractors pitch these massive open spans as a simple aesthetic upgrade, like choosing a different paint color for your patio. But treating a panoramic enclosure like a basic cosmetic change often leads to disastrous results. This is what happens when those open spans are not engineered for Florida's high-velocity hurricane zones. Compare that to a properly engineered structure right after a hurricane. The framing is intact, the screen is tight, and the entire system weathered the storm exactly as designed. Removing internal vertical posts completely rewrites the structure's physics. Without adjusting the underlying engineering to handle that new reality, a stunning patio becomes a massive liability. To understand why, you have to look at how a traditional screen enclosure handles severe weather. Standard grid enclosures rely on vertical and horizontal aluminum posts spaced every 36 to 48 inches. This dense lattice distributes weight and wind evenly. They also come with a hidden built-in failsafe. Standard fiberglass mesh is relatively weak. When hurricane force winds hit, that mesh is designed to tear or blow out of the aluminum tracks. This animated diagram shows exactly how that pressure relief works. When the wind hits the grid, the screen panels pop out, and the pressure indicators on the aluminum frame immediately drop. By losing the screens, the structure instantly sheds 40 to 60, but that exact mechanical failure acts as a pressure relief valve, saving the aluminum skeleton from total collapse. Panoramic enclosures eliminate that dense lattice, utilizing massive open spans of 20 to 40 feet. To cover those distances without sagging over time, you have to use heavy-duty, high-tensile polymer mesh. The trade-off with this premium mesh is its bursting strength of over 300 pounds per square inch. It will not tear or blow out, even in a Category 4 hurricane. This illustrates the sail effect. During severe storms, driving rain fills the mesh's tiny voids. The screen becomes a solid barrier against the wind. Because this unterrible mesh won't blow out, the extreme wind load is trapped and channeled intensely into the perimeter beams. When that amplified load transfers into a frame that hasn't been upgraded to handle the stress, the aluminum warps, bends, and ultimately fails. By removing the fail-safe of weak screens, the only way a panoramic structure survives is through massive, uncompromising upgrades to its engineering stack. Upgrading that stack starts with the skeleton itself. You have to swap out standard architectural aluminum for heavy-duty structural alloy. This cross-section compares a thin, hollow standard beam with a thick, interlocking 6005 T5 self-mating I-beam. These massive header spans require this specific geometry, which yields a 40% increase in structural strength to prevent the beam from deflecting under pressure. This specialized structural alloy is substantially more expensive than the basic metal used by cut-rate contractors, but it is entirely non-negotiable for wide spans. The reinforced skeleton must connect to your home. Standard residential rain gutters have zero structural capacity. Under the immense wind loads of a panoramic design, thin roll-formed gutters will simply rip away from your fascia board.
To secure the structure, the Florida Building Code requires a 7-inch heavy-gauge extruded super gutter. This custom extrusion manages extreme water volume from the roof while serving as the primary load-bearing header for the enclosure. A reinforced aluminum skeleton is useless if it tears off the house. The super gutter, anchored deeply into the home's roof trusses with structural lag screws, is the lifeline that keeps the entire system grounded. Down at the concrete deck, massive lateral wind loads from the sail effect create extreme shear forces and violent vertical uplift on the foundation connections. Standard expansion wedge anchors are dangerous here. They exert outward mechanical pressure inside the hole, easily cracking the concrete pool deck under heavy load. High-load applications require heavy-duty Tapcon screw anchors or advanced chemical epoxy anchors. These systems bond directly with the concrete, providing immense holding power without that destructive outward expansion pressure. Then there is the hidden killer of Florida enclosures, galvanic corrosion, or electrolysis. When you mix steel anchors and aluminum base plates in a saltwater environment, the metals react. The bolts rust, degrade, and eventually snap. This diagram details the solution, a base isolation system like Protect or Nylotech. A rigid nylon sleeve physically blocks the stainless steel bolt from ever touching the aluminum base plate, completely breaking the galvanic circuit. The strength of those overhead beams won't matter if the connection to the earth fails. Resilience relies on these hidden, specialized foundation bolts, the exact details that budget-focused contractors leave out. Ultimately, you have to match the right enclosure to your specific property and budget. If you have a premium waterfront, golf course, or preserve view, and the budget to demand the full engineering stack, a panoramic enclosure is a stunning investment. If you prioritize a fast, reliable, fully code-compliant build at a highly predictable and lower cost, a standard grid enclosure remains an excellent choice. This table breaks down exactly what changes structurally when you make that choice. Going panoramic requires stepping up to 6005 T5 structural alloy, adding a super gutter, utilizing advanced anchor systems, and installing high-tensile mesh. Choosing a standard enclosure is choosing a proven system. But if you decide to go panoramic, you have to accept that the heavy engineering behind the scenes is the true cost of that view. The Florida market is full of contractors who will eagerly sell you the aesthetic of a picture window without providing the engineering required to make it survive. To expose a cut-rate builder, ask 4 specific questions. What alloy are you using? What is your anchor system? What size is the gutter? And is there a professional engineer-sealed plan for this specific property? At Screen Factory Florida, we treat these engineering upgrades as our baseline standard. The difference shows up when the weather turns. Following recent storms like Hurricane Milton, we saw severe structural failures across the state from enclosures that simply weren't built for the wind load. By utilizing heavy-duty bracing and strict engineering protocols, Screen Factory Florida enclosures stood strong and untouched by those same storms. We back that performance with an in-house permit department, a strict 365-day warranty, and a guarantee that your build will utilize the right alloy and proper chemical anchors. Reach out today to book a free consultation and see a 3D visualization of your project. With the right partner, you can have a breathtaking view, built to survive whatever the next season brings.